Alright, so in the last sketchbook video, I had quite a bit of views, and one of you in particular asked for a tutorial. Now, it was this particular page that got the views. And the problem is that I would do a tutorial on the raccoon, except for the fact that it was so experimental. So until I get a more solid method on how to make a raccoon, that's just going to be, a no-go. But I know how to do a duck, so I will teach you how to do a duck. So first things first, you might want to pull up a reference image even though you are following a tutorial, just so that you can understand what's going on. After that, you are going to lightly sketch out a circle just to know where the head is. Now you're going to add in a line just to know where the eye is going to be. To create the top of the head, you're going to sketch a line that comes to a peak and then slants down. So right here, I sketched out a little bit of the neck just so that I can see the flow and how it's going to merge with the rest of the body. Located closer to the top of the head, I sketched out an almond shape for the eyes. When you do this, make sure when you color in the eye, make sure that you leave a little bit of white, or at least intend to use a gel pen to leave a little bit of shine. I reinforce the head shape, making sure that it is still fairly close to the eye, and then I sketch downwards to create the bend of the neck, and then that's when it flows right into the body. Alright, for the beak, you're going to make a blunt triangle. It is very important that you do not bring the beak to a point. Then you're going to add a curve into the face. Then you're going to add a slight jaw, and that's going to flow right into the neck. For the duck's chest, I sketched out a circle, and then I sketched out the shape of the chest. For the back, I made a slightly curved line just to indicate where the wings are. And then I drew out the wings as a very blunt shape. And I reinforced that shape by adding on harder strokes. And then I started to go from the back. And closer to the back, I left a little portion for the legs. For the legs, I drew two small straight lines that then bend into the foot. The foot is basically just a blunt triangle as well, kind of like the beak. And then I added in the cheek because this is based off of a calling duck. The cheeks are very prominent on a calling duck. Alright, so this is actually the point where the drawing starts to come together. You're basically going to just start to darken everything up. I first started off with the eyes so that they can pop a little bit more. And then I started to draw out the tail. The first portion comes up to a point, while the other one comes up to a little curlicue. Now that you have the duck fully sketched out, you're basically going to just go in and darken everything up with a very thick line. Granted, I know that ducks don't necessarily have skin, but I like to add in some blush. You can also use this step to add in details, such as like what I did for the legs. I added in some lines just to give it some texture. And for the beak, I also colored it in just a little bit. And then for the shadows, I used a very graphic method of drawing out a line or drawing out a shape, and then adding in some lines. Now you could leave it like this, but if you want to spice things up, you can go ahead and choose 3 colors. Choose one for the main body. I chose pink for this one, and for the shadows I chose green. And I decided to go in with the pink just to add in some blush and darken the wings. I added yellow for the highlights. Now the final thing to do is just to spice up your page and you're done.